Hello everybody, welcome to Trust Fund Tuesdays. Michael Clark here, owner of Culture Shock Investments. Looking forward to giving you guys some tips this week. Pun intended, because that's what I'm talking about, tips. And no, not the tips you leave your servers and waiters and waitresses, even though make sure you leave your tips, especially in hard times like now. But TIPS means Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. And that is essentially the Treasury telling you that here's some securities for you that are we going to make sure keep pace with inflation. So you're not going to be losing money as the market continues to become inflated. And what these tips do, they come in increments of 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, and 30-year, similar to bonds. And they pay interest rates on them, similar to bonds. And the interest rates that you're going to get on this tip is going to be negotiated at the time of your purchase. Now, the interest rates on tips, I will have a disclaimer and let you know that they're usually pretty low in comparison to savings bonds. But that is not the enticement of buying a tip. Buying this is going to allow you to have your principal investment adjust along with inflation. And the interest payments that come along with those, with that principal amount, is going to be adjusted along with whatever the inflation level is. So, if you have a $100 tip, 5-year tip that you have purchased, and inflation is up 8% as it is now, your $100 tip may be worth $108 in principal value, and whatever interest rate that you negotiated, whether that be a 0.5%. 0.12%. I've seen some as low as that, and I've seen some as high as 3%. Now, whatever your negotiated rate is going to apply to that new principal amount. So that's what makes this a powerful tool, because now you're not gaining a 1 or 2% interest on just a $100 bond. It's going to be $108. Now you're gaining 1 or 2% interest on that level of the bond. And that is important in times like now, because inflation is going up and out of control. You want to make sure any securities or assets that you own, their value is being adjusted accordingly. And this is going to allow you to do this with up to $5 million a year you could put into tips. And that is powerful because it is also a tool that is not state taxed or locally taxed. It can only be taxed by the federal government. And that allows you to pull most of that income that you make back into your pocket while keeping your principal investments safe and protected from inflation risk that you see today. All right, so make sure you go do your research on some tips, check that security out, and look to add that into your portfolio as well. I'll see you guys next week.